18.72 million international visitors. That's the record-breaking figure that poured into Dubai in 2024, proof that the Middle East's most powerful tourism engine seemed truly unstoppable. And yet, what happens when that entire colossal engine begins to wobble, not because of a financial crisis, but because of an invisible crack running through the very symbol it takes the greatest pride in? Burj Al Arab has never been just a hotel. To the global elite, it is the face of the Dubai dream, a fortress representing the pinnacle of luxury, an absolute peace of mind. And yet, after an incident that appeared to leave only minor surface damage, this seven-star icon made a decision unprecedented in its entire operating history: a full 18-month closure for renovation. The media is calling this a heritage restoration project meant to preserve the hotel's DNA. But behind those closing doors, and beneath the steady stream of regional security headlines, high-end travelers are quietly asking themselves a far colder question. If even the most heavily protected, most expensive place on earth can be touched, are they really paying tens of thousands of dollars a night for a room, or for an illusion of safety that no longer feels intact? Dubai's tourism turbulence is striking, not because the city is fragile, but because it once stood so impossibly tall. They engineered an almost perfect money-making machine. And inside it, a hotel was never just a place to sleep. It was the heart of a self-contained experience ecosystem, a place where travelers stepped in to affirm their status and enjoy the privileges of a world seemingly free of risk. But the hard truth is that this colossal machine runs on an incredibly delicate fuel: trust. And in the luxury industry, a crisis never begins with panicked crowds rushing for the exits. It begins with an unsettling silence, when gold-lined rooms fall empty of voices and expensive suitcases quietly redirect themselves toward another shore. In an ordinary hotel, an empty room is simply the absence of a customer. But in a luxury icon like Burj Al Arab, that emptiness carries a much deeper and more devastating meaning. A standard hotel sells you a bed, a convenient location, and basic amenities. But the seven-star empires? They don't sell rooms at all. They sell something invisible and astronomically expensive: the feeling of absolute peace of mind. For the ultra-wealthy, paying thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars a night is not just an exchange for gold or marble. It is the price of building a psychological barrier. It guarantees that the risks, the chaos, and the noise of the outside world will be stopped at the revolving doors. The very cost creates the privilege of never being disturbed. But what happens when the boundary of that safety begins to feel uncertain? The moment guests start asking themselves, "Is this place still safe?" The hotel's core product has already been undone, long before any financial report registers the drop in revenue. From a technical standpoint, an incident such as debris falling onto the building's exterior might be assessed by experts as minor damage. A fire can be brought under control in under an hour. But guests who pay for luxury don't react like structural engineers. They react as people weighing their vacation, their privacy, and their family's safety on the same set of scales. In hospitality, a scorch mark on a wall can easily be painted over, but a scorch mark in a traveler's mind can linger across many booking seasons. The elite never wait for a destination to truly become dangerous before they act. The faintest ripple of unease is enough to make them leave, because at their level, the greatest power they hold is the power of choice. If reports of surging cancellations and steeply falling occupancy turn out to be accurate, this isn't simply a short-term economic dip. It is an alarm bell, a sign that travelers are repricing the entire concept of safety attached to this destination. And that is when we begin to see the true nature of a luxury tourism crisis. It isn't loud. There are no panicked crowds screaming in the lobby, no long lines of guests jostling to check out. This kind of crisis begins with a quiet, almost chilling wave, just a series of extraordinarily polite emails from personal assistants and travel advisors. Please cancel our stay. But in the world of seven-star empires, the silence of those emails and the stillness of the row of luxury cars waiting outside can be the loudest sound a system makes as it starts to crack. When those cancellation emails are quietly sent, they bring with them a brutal economic reality that very few travelers ever see. The more luxurious a hotel, the more enormous its fixed costs become. A seven-star empire is run by an elite workforce, with service ratios that can reach dozens of staff per guest. Whether the rooms are filled or empty, the central air conditioning still has to run. Fresh flowers still need to be replaced every single day, and security systems still have to operate at full capacity. When occupancy drops, an average hotel simply earns a little less profit. But an iconic hotel? It instantly transforms into a colossal, cost-burning engine, silently consuming its own resources. Because at the very top of the market, revenue has never lived on a single bed. It lives across an entire luxury ecosystem. An empty suite doesn't just evaporate tens of thousands of dollars in room revenue. It drags with it an empty fine dining table, a canceled high-end spa treatment, an unopened vintage wine, and a butler with no one to look after. A super luxury hotel doesn't die the moment its rooms go empty. It slowly runs out of breath. As the clatter of cutlery fades, as the lounge loses the gentle clink of glasses, and as the supercars below become little more than expensive metal sculptures, sitting motionless in the basement. And the cruelty of timing lies in this. The crack in trust appeared during Dubai tourism's golden season. March, the final perfect window, before the desert summer rolls in with its scorching 50 degrees Celsius heat. This is when the ultra-rich from Europe and North America flock in to escape the cold. In tourism economics, not every empty room is worth the same. A vacant room in the low season is a calculable loss. But a vacant room in the very heart of peak season, that is revenue gone forever. Revenue no July or August discount campaign can ever bring back. So why don't they do what every business does when sales slow down, cut prices? This is exactly the fatal trap that comes with being an icon. A 4-star hotel can save itself with deep promotions that quickly fill its rooms. But a hotel positioned at the 7-star level cannot do that without dismantling the very soul of its brand. Luxury is defined by scarcity and status. The moment an icon becomes too easy to access, it begins to strip away the very reason the elite were once willing to pay so much to step inside. High-end guests aren't hunting for a bargain. They are searching for exclusivity. And in this delicate world, an empire never trembles alone. When the most powerful icon, the centerpiece of the Jumeirah pearl chain, starts to show signs of wobbling, a psychological ripple effect is triggered almost instantly. Travelers don't just question one building. They begin to view the surrounding area, and even the city's entire high-end hotel segment, through a far more critical lens. When neighboring hotels rush to send out messages emphasizing the word safety, they unintentionally remind travelers of the very risks that exist. The crisis of confidence is no longer confined to a single artificial island. It has begun to spread across the entire ecosystem. When the elite start looking at a resort paradise with defensive eyes, how will the global booking machinery respond? In this crisis of confidence, the real power doesn't sit entirely in the hands of hotel directors. It sits along another, invisible front line, the network of intermediaries. Everyday travelers can hop online, compare prices, and book a room themselves. But the ultra-wealthy operate differently. They entrust their vacations to high-end travel advisors, the gatekeepers of the luxury world. When risk appears, these guests don't call the hotel, they call their assistant. And the questions they ask are not about price. They ask, how flexible is the cancellation policy? Is the area under heavy security checks? Will the experience still feel seamless and completely private? All it takes is a tiny hesitation in the advisor's answer, or a single announcement about increased security, and that booking evaporates on the spot. Because for the elite, a vacation that requires passing through layers of security screening or that leaves them feeling closely watched is no longer a luxury vacation at all. In their world, the highest tier of security is the kind you never see. The moment travel advisors lose faith in a destination's ability to maintain that invisibility, they will quietly redirect their clients' spending toward other, calmer shores. And that is not the only force at work. A luxury hotel isn't built only from concrete, steel, and reinforced glass. It is rebuilt every single day, inside the imagination of travelers through flawless photographs, glowing reviews, and word of mouth across elite circles. But when the image of serenity is replaced by a sense of unease, when search terms tied to the hotel start to include words like incident or safety, that imagination shatters in an instant. A luxury hotel can put out a physical fire very quickly. But how do you put out a fear that spreads at the speed of light across the internet? The most unsentimental truth of the tourism industry is this: customers don't disappear. They simply choose a different hotel. If the data on slowing bookings and the wave of rescheduled trips is accurate, it reflects a cold law of capital movement. The ultra-wealthy can change destinations in a matter of minutes. Dubai doesn't actually need to become a troubled region to lose its customers. All it takes is for another destination to prove it can offer the same peace of mind at a similar price, and the money will quietly flow there. One destination's crisis is always another destination's golden opportunity. Standing at that brutal crossroads, how do the empires respond? According to official confirmations, Burj Al Arab has made a historic decision, closing its doors to undertake a comprehensive 18-month restoration project, led by some of the world's top designers, in preparation for the icon's next 25 years. In their public communications, they have not officially linked this renovation to any security event. But viewed against the backdrop of a deep wobble in traveler confidence, these 18 months of silence unintentionally raise a profound philosophical question for the entire service industry. Is this really just about replacing the carpets and repolishing the gold-plated columns? Or is 18 months exactly the right amount of time for unsettling images to fade from public memory, long enough to invisibly redesign the entire security system, and long enough to redefine what luxury even means? When an icon closes its doors, it isn't simply upgrading the body. It is a proud, almost desperate effort to heal the soul of the brand, to answer the most fundamental question of all. After everything, how do you make the elite long to come back, just one more time? But behind those closing doors, behind the lost revenue and the brand repositioning equations, lies a hard truth, rarely mentioned in the headlines: the human equation. A 7-star hotel isn't given its soul by gold, reinforced glass, or marble. It is brought to life by the people who fold the towels, who open the doors, who drive the cars, and who remember the exact temperature of a regular guest's morning tea. When the travelers vanish, the brutal silence doesn't just settle over the tens of thousands of dollar-a-night rooms. It seeps deep down through every layer of service. Closing for 18 months means this empire must confront its deepest structural challenge yet. How do you keep an elite team together? You can easily buy a new high-end sofa, but you cannot create a world-class butler overnight. If they are forced to let this talent walk away or transfer to other properties, the hotel doesn't just lose employees. It loses its cultural memory, a piece of the very soul that defines what 7-star actually means. So when the doors reopen, how do you bring the elite back? Travelers can forgive a technical mishap, but they will never forgive a hotel that fails to understand their fears. In a crisis, rebuilding the walls is always easier than rebuilding trust. To be truly reborn, Dubai's luxury empires will have to solve an equation with 5 variables. They must restore the feeling of safety, but that security must remain completely invisible, so it never breaks the sense of privacy. They must offer unconditionally flexible booking policies, communicate with absolute transparency, and, most importantly, redefine luxury itself. Luxury is no longer dazzling display. Luxury is peace, untouched by the shadow of risk. There is a bitter lesson humanity seems to relearn after every crisis. Empires built entirely on the illusion of perfection are always the most fragile of all. Dubai once showed the world that it could turn desert sand into gold and transform the impossible into architectural wonders without equal. But in a world full of unpredictable shifts, the game itself has changed. The next chapter of the smokeless industry no longer belongs to those who can build the tallest or most expensive towers. It belongs to those who can offer the safest, most peaceful harbor. Burj Al Arab still stands there, a symbol of limitless ambition. But once the dust settles and the silence of an 18-month closure passes, the question facing Dubai is no longer, what more lavish thing can they build? The real question and a survival-level challenge for this region's growth model is this: can they convince those who hold the world's power and wealth to trust them once again? And what about you? When an icon has revealed a crack, can gold and promises really mend the trust of the elite? If you found real value in this analysis and want to keep decoding the hidden corners of the global economy with us, please hit like and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation.